morning, viewers. This is National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, Nigeria, and welcome to NOA Rivers State Dialogue. On this forum, as part of our mandate, government policies, programs and activities are communicated to citizens and feedback entertained. Also support entertained for government policies, programs and activities. Today is a special edition because we're going to be talking about violence against the girl child. In recent times in Nigeria, we have had reports of violence, increased violence and sexual abuse against the girl child. We've had reports of fathers abusing their daughters or the girl child being sexually abused by a male family member. What is the reason for all this? Are there ways this can be curbed? What is the role of each and every one in this matter? And I have wonderful people here in the studio this morning to take on this discussion. And to my left, I have Ms. Yingi Irimagba. She is of Gender and Development Action. Good morning, you're welcome.
Good morning.
Okay, I also have Mr. Samuel Achibad. He's the Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer in charge of NOA office, Anthony Local Government Area. You're welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure.
I'm excited about our audience this morning. And I have here Mr. Otobo Dennis. He's of Association Against Child and Sexual-Based Violence.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Also have a regular on this program. She's Mrs. Rosemary Abihat. She's a Peace Ambassador. She's an Assistant Director and Head of Department, Human Resource Management.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We also have Ms. Emem Okon from Kabet Kachi, a friend of the agency, and she has been working with us. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. I have Sotonye Sekibo from Chitoko Media.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, you're welcome. I have Mr. Ajemina. He is also of National Orientation Agency and of NOA office, Asaritori Local Government Area. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning for having me.
Good morning. I also have Hilda Dexmond, Ihe Karie. She is the coordinator, African Women Lawyers Association, Rivers State.
Good morning, viewers. Pleased to be with you.
Welcome. We are so excited to have you all this morning. And we would really love to hear from you, our viewers. So on this topic, you can start sending in your questions, comments, and suggestions. I'd like to start with you. Yingi, what is this whole talk about violence against the girl child?
Thank you for having me. Violence against the girl child is it's a very, very serious issue, and it's one of the issues that falls under violence against women and girls. We keep hearing about violence against women and girls or gender-based violence targeted at women and girls. So talking about the girl child, for me, it's a very critical issue because first of all, the voices of women are hardly heard in Nigeria, and women face a whole lot of violence. And when you now talk about the girl, it's even worse than what the women face because the girls are like the voiceless, dark part of community where we don't hear what they need, we don't really listen to what they want. Our government is not even programmed in a way that they are even sensitive to the issues that women face, how much more girls. So when you now understand the amount of violence girls face at home, in their schools, in their immediate environment, you begin to wonder how bad it is because the reporting is low. It's like there's no actual research or data to even back up what they are going through. And then the kinds of violence that girls face in school, we know we have the sexual exploitation, we have the sexual violence, and the girls who come from the lower economic strata, we have the economic exploitation. You exploit girls economically for sexual favors. And it's so bad that when we see girls who are somewhat sexually, how would I put it, expose, or we tend to call them, oh, this girl is a bad girl. You forget that the girl is below 18 and legally cannot consent to having sex.
Okay.
So if anybody has had sex with that girl as she is below 18, the person took advantage of her, the person has raped her legally.
Okay.
So we just see, oh, this girl looks exposed, we say, oh, this girl is a bad girl, or girls around this region are bad, without looking at all the other issues that brought the girl to that point where she is at. Many of these girls have passed through so much abuse that, like somebody had pointed out earlier, that their response to it is getting hard. Like they get hard, they just know that my life is to be exploited. So rather than I let this man exploit me, I'm ready for whatever he has to offer.
Really?
So we don't see those things, we just name them, oh, these girls are bad girls, without looking at all the other issues that got them to that point. Now, the other one that is most critical and very, very sensitive is the incest that girls face. We have girls who are sexually abused by their parents, by their fathers. We have those ones abused by their uncles, relatives, and people of authority. So you have girls in school sexually abused by teachers, you come back home, you have them sexually abused by their fathers. And it puts society in a very awkward position because there are conventions. A man having sex with a child, you're breaking all conventions. All the conventions that we know as human beings, you're breaking. Even, it's so hard to process, and it's almost as if it's so close a family unit that the law enforcement can hardly come in. You see family members coming in, the wife's side from the husband's side, trying to mediate, trying to, close up the matter. And they forget that a child is involved. The life of the child is involved. And she has faced the most dire kind of violence from the person she should trust the most in her life. And you're putting the wife in a horrible situation. What does she do? Is she supposed to expose her husband and then, scatter her family, or pretend it doesn't happen and keep her family together? And women who are also financially dependent on their husbands or their partners. You can imagine being financially dependent on your husband or your partner, and that same partner abuses your child. So the man is financially responsible for you and your child. So what do you do to a benefactor? This is where the state should come in. Because I keep hearing, oh, do we have NGOs? Do we have this? The state is the priority of the state is security and welfare of its citizens. And the security of women and girls are even threatened in their homes. Security is not just about, okay, there is no war, and there are no armed robbers. What about the violent threat women and girls face at home? So how is the state going to find itself in that space, in that tiny societal space, which is the family, that has a potential to be violent towards women and girls, especially the girls in this process. So I've had a situation where the former commissioner for social welfare had to take in a girl who was sexually abused by her father and got pregnant for her father. There was nothing anybody could do for her. So the man had to take her in and keep her. The only time he was now trying to hand over to the state was when he was leaving office as commissioner for social welfare. So the state itself doesn't even understand or know how to manage the situation. So it's a very, very critical thing that I think we all are somewhat responsible. The kinds of things we say, the kinds of information we put out, and then being ignorant of the issue doesn't even help. It's a very critical situation to be in, where you have a husband and you're thinking in your head, will this my husband abuse my child? It's a toxic thing to think about, but sadly, we are at that point in life where, you must, I'm not saying go suspecting your husband, but there are things that happen that you should have open conversations around this. Communication can open open these things up to understand where the head of your partner is at with regards to your child.
Now, Mr. Achibat, what we're talking about fathers abusing their daughters. Well, we can also say sons, but right now we're talking about the girl child. What is responsible for this?
We really need to talk about the girl child, because the girl child is weak by creation and can hardly face certain challenges, so she needs our protection. Apart from that, when we are talking about violence, For the girls, every 3 go and surpass it.
Okay.
For the boys, every 6 go and surpass it.
Okay.
So it is almost 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to talk about it.
Okay.
I look at fathers violating their section due to greed and selfishness.
Okay.
Maybe they look at their daughter, this girl that I've given birth to is finer than her mother. So how will I just say that some other man will come and marry her or sleep her? And whatever you do, develops on the mind.
Yeah.
And before you know, you are into it. A friend once told me that he was admiring his daughter's friend. And he said, Sam, do you know what Satan is so foolish? My wife has left for work. My daughter, her friend, has gone out. This girl came. I was alone in the house. I just told myself, Holy Ghost fire. How many men can control such urge?
Yeah.
That's where we're having problems.
Okay. So you have identified men being, some of them are selfish and they don't want their daughters to go out there and get married. Now, Mr. James, I'd like to come to you because you are from Association of Against Child Abuse and Sexual-Based Violence. What do you have to say to this?
For me, I would say what we are discussing coming from the two speakers is actually true.
Okay.
But I always tell people we have a foundational issue.
Okay.
The core values of family unit, we've all forgotten them.
Yeah.
Because you find that in the morning the mother is going to work, she doesn't know what is happening. They have self that does everything.
Okay.
So she does not even understand her children. And we know that the girl child is close to her parents, that to the father. So she runs down to the father. Even when these issues happen, who she could have reported to is the father. And it's the father that is doing it. So it becomes very difficult for that to do so. The first and foremost is the family value.
Okay.
If you can go back to the family value, we're going to put a lot of things right.
Okay.
Because one, we know that we are trying to borrow the Western culture, which is not our own original way of life.
Okay.
It is strange for us if you see a girl moving with a pants, short pants, that very small pants. But if you go to the Western, like a norm, and again when you look at the norm, how many times do they see the sun in the year? So those are summer appearances.
Okay.
But we see it as a norm here, and because we are seeing it as a norm here, which is not our culture, and when you see it, you see some men that are not mentally strong.
Okay.
Will now fall for it and start having ideas.
Okay.
We are not saying that there's any excuse for any man to rape a child or any person. There's no excuse, there's no valuable excuse. But what we are saying that prevention could be far better. If you are going to a children's party, a birthday party, watch out. The parents that are taking the children down there will dress very, what will I say, civil or modest.
Okay.
And you will see the little children when they will dress them. So the children grow up thinking that dressing half naked on the street is a norm in the society.
Yeah.
Why the value system of the family has been kept aside. So the other young ones that are coming with them may not have that strong mental capacity. Maybe they see that they start thinking of ideas. So when we start as a parents or as fathers and as mothers, just like one of the speakers said, start having open conversation in the home.
Okay.
You find out that we are going to reduce a lot of issues that were coming up from these rape cases.
Okay.
In the issues that there's a recent one on Monday where a pastor got 3 of his daughters pregnant. So if you look in Port Harcourt here, so if you look at it, when you hear his own part of the story, you find out that a lot of things are happening. So what the wife knows, in many cases, also as they say, the parents are aware of it, the women, but they try to cover up the family name according to them. If you want to cover up the family name, why not put the family value first?
Okay.
What are the values of family? How do we live our life? What is the level of communication between the husband, the wife, and the children? Some mothers do not have even the patience to listen to their daughters.
Yeah.
Even when the daughter wants to talk to them, mommy, I want, hey, shut up, I'm tired, go away. And you shut up the girl.
Yeah.
She now starts seeking for help outside, or from the uncle or the father that is doing that act on her. So automatically you've left her with that child or with that uncle to continue doing what is happening.
Okay.
So we are saying that in terms of keeping our family values, no matter what you are, just like I used to tell them in my house, in my home, whatever the issue is, the children confess when they want to talk to you. No matter how tired you are, no matter how business important billion you want to have, if you don't listen to that child at that time and you shut that child up, you may not have the opportunity to get that information again.
Yeah.
And at that time, it may be too late to start crying foul.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's exercise a level of patience to listen to our children.
Okay.
And let us bring them close to us so that they can openly and without fear communicate these issues to them. But once we send them back, they look for help outside.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's of course. Yeah, from Captain Catcher, I know you deal with a lot of these cases, you know. So can you add to that? What are the characteristics of this man?
Thank you very much. I will add to what the previous speakers have said. Men, fathers enjoy a unique relationship with daughters, and in most cases, some of them go beyond the limits because the daughters will just assume daddy likes me. So anything daddy does is for the interest of the girl. Daddy cannot harm me. So the fathers take advantage of such situations. In some cases, it could be alcohol. The father could be drunk, and when he started, he did not know he was doing it to his daughter. But after the first attempt, second mistake, it becomes a habit. So there is need for family members, particularly the mothers, to be vigilant. When you notice, when you get some signals that something is fishy somewhere, you should raise the issue. Even if somebody gets angry or somebody feels insulted, you should raise the issue and also create a friendly atmosphere between you and your daughter. So that when the daughter has your confidence, even when she's not reporting, she could gist and mention that daddy did this.
Okay.
When there is that relationship with the mother. Because in most cases, when it starts, at that very young age, the child does not know that this is wrong. But as she grows up, she will know that daddy is doing something wrong. But because that situation has been there for long, she could find it difficult to pull back. I also want to suggest that at this stage, I think men should also begin to organize the way women are organizing. Maybe NOA could be a platform where you have an all-men meeting. Open up this discussion. Let them talk. What are those things? What are those situations that they cannot control that will make a man to sleep with his daughter? Is it that they don't know it is wrong? Is it that they find the daughter very attractive and they cannot resist? What is that thing that will push a man? There is need for men to begin to talk to themselves. Even the churches are also good platforms for men fellowship to talk about this issue. Raise the issues, let them discuss. What are the best ways to address this issue? Why should we continue to stigmatize the family? Because the man is the head of the family. And if the man does this, it means everything goes wrong within the family. And it is left for that man to correct that situation. So there is need for an open dialogue among the men. What can we do? And if a man does that, the other children in the family will know, though they may not say it. So the sons will also think it is right. Daddy used to do it. If daddy beats mommy, the son grows up because daddy used to beat mommy. I can beat my girlfriend, I can beat my wife. So if daddy is sleeping with my sister, okay, me, I can also sleep with my sister, or I can sleep with my cousin. And it goes on and on. So there is need for the man as the head of the family to set good examples. So we also need to open conversations among the men. Let them discuss and agree on the best way forward.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to talk to Hilda at the back. I know you are a lawyer. What can you say about this?
The issue of incest, as we can see in our society, is growing by the day.
Yes.
There are a lot of factors actually make this to happen. However, people need to be oriented.
Okay.
The Matrimonial Causes Act also already has what we call prohibited degrees of consanguinity and affinity.
Okay.
Ordinarily, a man is not supposed to have sexual relations or sleep with his or her daughter. But why is it continuing? We have a society that has a culture of silence. People keep quiet because instead of them shaming the victim, your tradition, and men that do it go on doing it because most times, like the one that happened in social media recently, where a man was sleeping with his 2 daughters. The wife was actually interviewed. He is a pastor, and he said, and the woman, they said, "Why didn't you talk?" He says, "My husband and I love him." Love shouldn't come in this instance because the Child Rights Act 2005, even the one of Rivers State 2009, has said in all issues, the interest of a child shall be of the paramount consideration. So ordinarily that woman ought to speak up. I know the issues that will make her not to speak up because of what people will say. But like I said, your tribunals, those who do wrong, they thrive on the silence of their victims. Yeah, because if the victims speak up, the law is there to prosecute and make sure, this thing actually bring to the man is actually brought to justice. Our religious leaders also have a role to play in making sure, because most times the woman, because of the way people see them in society, in the social media they will call them influencers, but religious leaders, they have a lot of role to play in society, in how their members behave. At times when they say their members view it as law, you find that when such things come up in church, the pastor will say it's evil spirit. It's not evil spirit, it's derangement. And one knowing what is right. And I don't believe in the issue of evil spirit. If not, why is it not catching everybody on the road and misbehaving? So if and some religious leaders under the guise of submission, even the Bible says we should submit as unto the Lord, they hide these issues. When the woman reports and they say, "Forgive him," but if such persons are reported, there are a lot of variety of laws. Even the criminal code has sections, providing not just for defilement. Besides the issue of rape, people are talking about rape, we're talking about mature adults. Okay. The criminal code knows that young children, especially young girls, are vulnerable. Okay. There is also a provision not just for defilement or having even a carnal knowledge with girls under 16. All these are offenses. Under the criminal code, in which these men can actually be prosecuted. Another issue that also makes some people not to come out, besides the issue of the stigma, when they now get to the law enforcement agency, somehow, by our position, by the work we are doing, African Women Lawyers Association, we see a lot of these instances. You find out that a woman braces up to come and report. The woman, you write a petition for her, or you now go to police to report these issues. They will tell you it's family matter, you should go and settle at home. Yes. Even at the help desk, by the time they start asking the girl a lot of questions, suggesting that she consented, or her attitude, her dressing, what were you doing? At the end of the day, you find out that they don't take the prosecution seriously. Okay. There should be a help desk. The police should be retrained a particular place. Yeah. Okay. They will begin to see these issues are not family matters. Okay. It's a crime. Yes. It's a crime. And once it's a crime, they should be able to press charges. Now, another major issue is when this woman finally reports, and probably with our aid, we persuade the police to now prosecute. Where will that woman and her child go to? That issue arose recently in another setting. Let me call it a celebrated case, the case that was in social media. And the man said, because you are taking me to police, you and your daughter should pack out of my house. Where do they go to? we know that because of tradition and patriarchy, you find that most women don't live to their full potential. They don't have the economic well-being. Presently in Rivers State, there is no shelter. We need what we call safe places. I know FIDA as an organization that are trying to build one. Even our organization, African Women Lawyers Association, that's our project we want to start with. I want to build a shelter. If somebody is suffering abuse, sexual or otherwise, the person needs to be removed to a safe place first. You find that sometimes in the course of prosecution, somewhere along the line, the woman says, "Now my husband, we don't settle," because that's still in the same place.
Yes, yeah.
And even at times, there will be threats from the father. But if there is a safe place where you can keep these victims, there will not be issue of interference. You find out that once one person has been successfully prosecuted, he will really put, a stop to that.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to take in some comments. Like I said, you can start sending me your comments. I have from Bekimbo Williams. He says, to be free from gender-based violence on the girl child, parents, girl child, society, and institutions must take responsibility and be observant most on wrong pair groups. We've talked about it here. We also have also from Williams again, says any true father cannot do such. Somebody said that. Any true father cannot get involved in this. He said, except demonic possessed. But mothers in the home should do the needful and speak out. What do you have to say to that, Mrs. Abiya?
Thank you. I will still take it from the spiritual angle.
Okay.
Like my brother said, no, there is spirituality in everything.
Okay.
In life.
Okay.
We have the physical, we have the spiritual. The spiritual control the physical. If you are sound spiritually, there is no way you fall victim physically.
Okay.
Because you must be on the know, you must be on the alert that this is going to happen. And you guide towards it. You cannot see fire, you put your hands. Even if yes, you're spiritually strong. When you see fire, you know the fire will burn you, you will not put your hands.
Okay.
What I want to take it from the spiritual angle, like that man. My brother said about a man raping his 3 daughters. That man is not normal.
Okay.
That man is insane. I'm coming from the spiritual angle that is a pastor. Who called him? Did he call himself or God called him? Because if actually he's a pastor and God called him, he will not do such a thing.
Okay. Okay.
He will not. He called himself because he wants to make money.
Okay.
And from the video we watched, if you even see the manhood of the man, you will know that that man is gone. That man is into court. He has influenced the children. He has influenced even the wife. The wife is supposed to speak out. Yeah, the wife is saying, I love him. It's my husband. Why did you not report? No, I will not report. It's my husband, my loving husband. What about the kids?
Okay.
If you're not prepared for children, why did you bring them to earth?
Okay. Mr. Jimina, let me come to you. So why are people silent about this? Why are people silent about it?
Thank you so much. People are really silent about this because of the fear and stigma.
Okay. Yeah.
People are stigmatized on this issue because when the matter is brought to the public, the family's name is dragged to the mall.
Okay.
And again, sometimes the girl child who is a victim of it will begin to distance herself from the society. She will be scared, possibly run away from that environment for the fear of being stigmatized as well. Convicted of that.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to take in more comments are coming in. From Cynthia Mba, she says, men are moved by what they see. So I think mass rural sensitization should be carried out as there is a high rate of nonchalant attitude towards protecting a girl child. As you see, most girls back in, I didn't get that, the last part. Most girls back in public, showing all their private parts of their body. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Sekimo? Let me take it. Say men are moved by what they see. You have mentioned something like that, Mr. Daly. He said men are moved by what they see. So I think mass rural sensitization. What do you have to say to that?
That's true. Most women, when they go to the market, they will see what they are supposed to buy for their girl child. But they feel wearing this bun shorts, mini skirts is the most important thing, whereby it's not. If a child a girl child is properly dressed, I see no reason why any father would pick interest of their child. You understand? Mm-hmm. And most time when they are sitting at home, you teach them how to sit properly.
Yeah, that is key. Mm-hmm.
You have to do that. And most mothers, they don't have time for their girl child. Mm-hmm. They feel all they want to do is just to go out for their business and do one thing or the other. Coming back home and asking the girl, what have you learned for the day? Okay. What have you done? Mm-hmm. What is going on? How are you feeling? Pay attention to your girl child mostly. Will give you everything you need. Okay. And most time when you come back to the house, the girl child will say, mommy, this is what so person did to me. Mm. And you know how to tackle it. And again, it's good to teach them self-education. Okay. Okay. So that this girl child will know what they are doing and what they are going to face in the future. Okay,
thank you very much. I want to take you up on something you said now. You said we should teach our children sex education. But I've come to observe that in recent times, fathers are even ashamed to talk to their male children. They leave it for the mothers to do that. If the mothers are talking to their daughters, who should talk to the boys? Who should talk to them? Mr. Otobo? Who should talk to the boy?
Actually, the mothers are supposed to talk to the boys and also the fathers. Okay. For me, I believe, as I said, I believe in coming together, calling everybody within the house and discuss as a family. Okay. I give you a clear example. I lived with my uncle after my secondary school while waiting for my jam. I went to Lagos to spend some time with him. He's not always at home, but if he comes back on Friday or Saturday, everybody talk everything. Mm-hmm. Everything talk. And in that process, you find that you pick up some little information that you may not even know. Mm-hmm. And you see that by the time you scrutinize the wife, you see how negligent she was and a lot of things. And she started getting wondering, how did you know? Mm-hmm. And one day I called my uncle and I said, how did you get this info? He said, when we talk, look at what is going on, the level of information that is going on. Okay. So I took that and I find out that it's extremely important. Yeah. In my own little way, even within my group. You can have one-on-one counseling there when you bring everybody together. Okay. Even at the round table, you see some people not talking. Okay. Keep inside, they know that there's an issue there. So with that, we were able to get some feelers. So the mothers, as you know, they say the woman owns the home. Mm-hmm. She is a responsibility to talk to her boy's child. Okay. It's a core responsibility to talk to her girl's child. Okay. Because she can flow with the girl in terms of her physiological body parts. She knows she has gone through the process of cycle and etc. So she could easily discuss with her baby, and the baby will understand, and the baby will relate to her. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. I grew up in the midst of 6 girls, and I knew that I'm also a victim. Right growing up, I've shared that information with them before. I'm also a victim of rape. Yes, when I was growing up. So it happened, but what could I tell? I couldn't even tell my dad, either my mom, because so long as they are concerned, they are on for their business.
So you see that the father cannot play their role.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So what I'm saying that there should be time for family business, time for family discussion. What I do in my little way, every Wednesday in my house, I call it family time. Okay. Wherever you are going, make sure before 5 you are at home. Okay. And we talk and eat within, just like we used to eat in the African culture. Yes, and believe you me, a lot of things. And when we finish, by the time I discuss with my wife, she looked like you are using a means. Honestly, yes. No, they used to do something in my house. This is my house. I'm telling you. I have a daughter that take pictures of everything that happens in the home. And I told my wife, I don't want anybody stranger to get into my room. When her family members come, she take them to my room, they'll stay there, and I'm not always there. So when I come, one day my daughter just showed me, look at this picture I took. Because I was a photographer. She was trying to tell me, look at the picture I took, is it beautiful? I said, yes. And when I scrolled through it, I saw a lot of things, so I kept it to myself. So after about a month, while we were having a family meeting, while we were having Wednesday talk, and I brought them up, I said, no, I told you, so sometimes this person came here, those are not the things that we put place in. So my wife also, wow. So what I'm saying, the parents, the mother has a core duty, the father has a core duty. make sure that your child can tell you anything.
Okay.
Once you're able to do that, believe you me, you reduce a lot of violent situations.
Yeah, I want to come to you. Maybe let me ask Cone. You know, I still believe that the father has a role to play.
Yes.
I still believe that. You know, I have a friend, very close friend of mine, she's in Lagos. She told me once that, you know, growing up as sons, she has just boys in the house. Her husband expects her to even teach the boys how to shave. It should not be the role of the mother. She had to be the one to teach the boys in the house. And the father was ashamed. When she said, oh, go, you should be the one to do it now, not me. She even teach the child how to properly dress. You know, the father is in the house. You know, so is it just because somebody has just sent a comment said, talking about violence against girl child at home, the mother has a big role to play, and the girl child should be educated on how to resist sexual assault on them by their relatives, even their fathers. Yeah. So what do you have to say?
The father has a key role to play.
Okay.
I believe the father has a key role to play because in most homes the father is the disciplinarian.
Okay.
1. 2. The father will know all the tricks of the men.
Yes.
If they have to trick the child.
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up, a neighbor used to go to sports club. So each time he dresses in sports wear, he goes out. I used to admire it. Then one day I said, within me, I said, I'll tell daddy he should take us to sports club.
Okay.
I don't know, somehow, maybe by my father noticed I was interested. But before I could tell him what I planned to say, one day he was going to work and then he stopped. He said, if somebody says, let us go to sports club, I know you would like to go, don't go. So I became kind of scared. I said, how did daddy know I planned telling him to take me? I didn't even say, let me join this person. I said, I'll tell daddy to take me. So with that warning, I became scared. Okay. So actually one day the man said I should come to sports club. I was so scared. I said no, and I told daddy. I said, how did you know? He actually told me to come to sports club. Mm-hmm. And if you did not tell me, I would have gone, but I would have told you before going. You know, that kind of thing. Fathers would notice the signs. Okay. Fathers should know when his friend is looking at his daughter in some kind of ways. Okay. And should be able to educate the child. If this happened, tell me. Or if this happened, this is the action you should take. Okay. Because most times, the mothers relate more and they teach more, but most times the woman is also intimidated. Okay. Because we notice things and we talk, maybe because of our approach, and it is looking like we are nagging. Mm-hmm. You're always complaining, you're nagging everything. Mm-hmm. But if you really look at it, what the woman is saying is the truth. Mm-hmm. So somebody should address it at that time. Okay. So fathers have a role to play.
Okay. Now I have from Margaret Van Gogh. It says rape is a terrible thing. The emotional and psychological trauma has so much impact on the life of the victim. I also have from Obaro Bukoro. There's a need for stiffer punishment for offenders. I'm going to raise that with you, Mrs. Hilda. He said there's a need for stiffer punishment for offenders, and the girl child must take her destiny in her hands by imbibing a conscious and firm resolve to defend her humanity and femininity against abuse and other forms of aggression, especially intimate partner violence. Love is a force. I'd like to take some more. From Prince Will, says parents should be observant. We've talked about that. Parents should be observant, especially the mother, on the relationship with the girl child and the father. Also from Prince, he said there should be zero tolerance to violence against the girl child. Early sex education is the principal thing. We talked about that. Yeah. Nkem Chikagbe says paying attention is not only on the girl child. Boys should also be given orientation. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Samuel.
Well, boys are among the children we're talking about.
Okay.
We are specifically talking about girls now because of the percentage.
Okay.
If not, boys are vulnerable.
Do fathers abuse the boys? Sexually.
Mothers abuse. I know of a case that the mother was taking her son to bed with her. Yes. A son that is up to 17 years was bathing with the mother and got the mother impregnated.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
Yes. And the option left for them was to abort the baby.
Yeah.
So boys are abused too.
Okay.
But we are specifically talking about girls because of the percentage.
Okay.
That the one for girls are higher than that of boys.
Okay.
So we should talk to the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you talk to the girls in isolation of the boys, what of the boys going to abuse the girls sexually, their sisters, out of ignorance?
Okay.
So we need to talk to them.
Yeah, we need to
so
talk
that
to
they
them.
will know what is involved.
Okay.
All this we are talking about is incest.
Yes.
It is the Bible itself. Those of us who are Christians, the Bible itself is against.
Yes.
If you go to Genesis chapter 20, verse 11 down, you will see where Abraham was talking of how he married his sister from another mother. And the Bible is against it. But because of the way we believe things, when missionaries came, they selected our tradition that is evil and threw it away, like killing of trees. But we, today Christians, we are throwing away both good and bad things of our traditions. There are some traditions that if you sleep with your sister or you sleep with your daughter and impregnate her, give back to the child, jam her. But today we are binding our passion and we are casting those things away.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ingi. What do you have to say to that? Let me take one more comment. He said children should please talk to their parents when anybody is passing advances. Thank God you did that. If you have not talked to your parent, your father about it, maybe you have been carried away. You like the way the man dresses and he has invited me. Let me go. And see what happens there. Mrs. Ingi, what do you have to say to that?
I think that this situation, this problem we're talking about is so dynamic that we might be talking about different solutions, but it might not be the necessary solution that will affect every situation of incest. And then, for me, I've been listening to everybody and I'm thinking, you say he says have family time to talk to you. But it can work in different economic stratas. The way incest presents itself in the lower economic strata is different from middle class, is different from upper class. So Nigeria is so complex that you can't necessarily say this is how to manage things. And then we also talk about, women and girls should learn how to dress and all of that. And when I hear things like that, it makes me feel very, very awkward. Because sexual abuse, if you're sleeping with a girl who is below 18, it's a crime. I know there is money in the bank. I don't go robbing the bank because I know there are consequences. I will be an armed robber. So when it comes to sexual abuse against women and girls, you keep hearing, the girl should do this, the girl should do that. What should a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 3-year-old girl do to prevent herself from being sexually abused by her father? The worst of all people, her father. So it's not about putting the bulk of the responsibility on those who are victims. It's about ensuring that those who perpetrate it know that our society is not a place where you perpetrate such crime. All this narrative of dress well, it's not. It doesn't sit well with me because you're absorbing you're taking away the responsibility from criminals and putting it on the victims, which is totally unacceptable. It doesn't matter. The law says a girl that is under 18 cannot consent to sex. And you know that these people, they sexually exploit these girls because of their status, because they are the father, they are the uncle, they are the person of authority. That's why you see some offices, you can't date somebody within the same organization as you are because you might be using your position of authority to influence. So that is a very, very critical situation. And in all of this, the state, I keep saying it, the state is responsible for security and welfare of its citizens. It doesn't matter if that citizen is 1 year old, 2 year old, or 18 years old, or 45 years old. How deep is the state's responsibility to the protection of lives and property, protection of persons? That young girl in her father's house is under the authority of her father and her mother, and then one of the authorities is her father rapes her. What is the state doing about it? How sensitive is the state to situations like that? It's a security issue, whether you like it or not. So there's so much we can talk about. In a situation where the people are very poor, The woman spends her time trying to make ends meet. The man is hustling outside. The uncles are whatever. How do you communicate to that kind of person? Like what I said before about communication, I think is key.
It's key, yes.
Many people prey on young girls who are docile, who are timid. Mm-hmm. You see a girl who is very, very vocal. She says everything. They don't go near those ones. Mm-hmm. So you must teach your children to be very assertive. Okay. Even if you don't have the time, that is the only empowerment you can give your child. And I can say, no matter how protective you are of your child, of a girl child, you can never be with that child 2/7. Okay. The girl is the only person with herself. Mm-hmm. So you must teach her that, whether you are the father, whether you are the mother, and it must be an open conversation. Mm-hmm. So if you're telling your child who is a girl, do not allow any male, the father is a male, the brother is a male, the uncle is a male, do this and do that to you in front of the father. The father knows if he's that kind of person, your quest for pedophilia is already exposed. Your child will resist. Okay. And you must ensure that there are certain things the child must do. Your child cannot be seen as docile. I remember the day I was in secondary school, I was in a taxi, sitting down. You know, I have this chubby face, and I look very, when I'm quiet, I look very docile. So this young man sitting down with, I don't know, he's not young. I don't know what conversation he had, and then I smiled. You know how people talk inside taxis? Usually, we don't speak when we're in public. We don't talk to strangers. You just sit down and mind your business. So I smiled, and I think the smile was okay. This one has started responding. The next thing I heard was, "Won't you follow me to know my house?" This is a complete stranger. I was not even up to 15, and I got mad. I got ballistic. I screamed. I shouted. I don't know the kind of things I was saying. Everybody in the vehicle joined me, and they attacked the man. The man came down and so if I was docile, if I was taught, and this over, you must respect your elders. You must respect. It gets so bad that as a woman, a man can disrespect you, and when you give him back that same energy, they tell you it's somebody's husband. Yes. So that overthing, you must respect. It puts women and girls at risk. Okay. Because if uncle comes to you to do something to you, you are afraid, he's my uncle, I can't say anything to him. So we must teach our girls to ensure that you are responsible to protect yourself. If this happens, this is what you do. Okay. There was a time I used to talk to young girls, and I tell them, look, this can be a do or die affair for you. Okay. If the man has HIV, so at that point, you must make up your mind to protect yourself. I say, even if, let's say you happen to be in this man's house, is your neighbor, is your uncle, and he decides to rape you, what do you have to do? Act populistic. Carry his teeth, smash it, scream like a mad person. Because sometimes the shame of you shouting, you don't want to shout because, hey, they will say, what were you doing here? What were you doing there? So we must have this open communication. If you're in a compound, face me, I face you. Talk to your daughter outside. So that the neighbors will hear that this particular one, her mother has not told her. Let your father be involved. If new people are coming to visit, everybody should have that. You're not telling them, don't come and rape my daughter. What you are telling is your daughter in front of them. You are having that conversation. This place is a no child molesting zone. I think for me, that is the one way you can open up the conversation and ensure that even your daughter takes responsibility for protecting herself. Everybody around your vicinity should know that you are the kind of woman or man that does not tolerate that, and they will not come near your child. Another thing we need to do is to ensure that we keep on holding the government responsible. Because we can do all of these things if there is no prosecution, it will go on. And we cannot be saying the man is sleeping with, the man is sexually abusing his child. The girl is not consenting to that. A man does not start trying to sleep with his daughter at 22. Or it's always when they are younger. So it is sexual, it's not a matter of he's sleeping with her, there is no sex involved. It is outright rape, it is a crime. And if you don't walk into a bank and take money, you don't see a girl naked or clothed and rape her. That is what
I'd like to ask Mrs. Hilda, are there barriers to effective persecution of this act? We are running out of time.
There are barriers, but a lot of persons have also been successfully prosecuted, and they are serving their prison terms. So, but you cannot stay in your house and say this person was not prosecuted. Even in the River State High Court here, we have seen a lot of men that have been prosecuted for violating not just their children or other people's younger children. It's just for you to come out and stand up. There are so many, we don't even know where to even start this issue. Even our constitution is not helping matter. Okay. Our section 29 sub 4A of our constitution says somebody is still a child until the person is 18. Then sub B of that section 29 that has said if a woman is married, the person is deemed to have been a mature person. Okay. It's a derogation. Nigeria is a signatory to the International Convention for Elimination of Violence Against Women. Okay. It's also a signatory to so many Geneva Protocol on Protection of Children. Once a child, as long as we have that thing in our constitution, okay, and it's not unconnected with subsections of the society who still do the issue of child marriage. Okay. A child is a child. Even the Child Rights Act prescribes 18 years as the age of majority, or call it the age of majority. Therefore, the retention upon all the alteration, the retention of section 29 sub 4B of the constitution that said a child is deemed to be mature once the child is married, is a derogation, is a complete derogation. We cannot give from one hand and take from another. Okay. That issue has come up with the National Assembly. I know that a lot of people voted against the deletion of that section. We are praying that section should be deleted.
Okay, thank you so much. From all the comments coming in, people are saying that the mothers, but I believe that, like we have said here, the church has a role to play, like you said. They should, in your fellowships, in the men's fellowship, they should talk about these issues. Even the women fellowships in our churches, they should talk about this. The children should be educated. There should be orientation. We should go back to our values. I think those values, we have forgotten about those values. I know our time is running up, but I'd like to take one last comment. It says, now we are talking about abuse of the girl child at home. We should not lose sight of boy child being sexually abused. We have talked about that. We need value reorientation and stiffer punishment to deter would be what perpetrators. Kudos anyway. Thank you very much. We can go on and on and on. Like I said, this is a special edition. So like we have said, are there helplines? I know Kabetkache you deal with women, so can you give them? And I know you also, so can we just in 1 minute just give, let's start with Ms. Hilda. Can you give, the helpline to people? So if you are out there and you are a victim, or you are being harassed, you are being sexually abused by your father, by a male family member, there is help for you. So let's hear you.
Okay, the African Male Lawyers Association have the following helplines for victims of abuse, particularly girls: 090 80 230 95914.
Okay.
The second one is 090 56 87 4706.
Okay.
If you call any of these numbers, will help. I also want to add that because traditionally women stay more with the children, we borrow things and we borrow it halfway. In other civilized nations, it's either the man or the woman stays at home to take care of these children. At this important stage of their life, you cannot belong to all the church organizations, belong to all the clubs, and every time you're out, and your man is also out, and you expect that your children will get values, or your children will come back late in the night. So if we are borrowing the Western culture, both the man and woman working, they should work on shift. It's either the man returns at a particular time and the woman takes another shift, so that we will always be there for our children. If we are not there, by the time we know what is happening, it's already too late. That is the experience we've noticed from those who come report. By the time they know, it's already 6 months, 3 months, and the evidence is already destroyed. It becomes very difficult to prosecute such rape victims.
Okay. I'd like to hear from you, Kabetkache.
Okay, I'll provide 2 numbers that you can reach us with reports.
Okay.
My own number is 080 333 63172. I'll take that again. 080-333-63172. The second number is 0803-754-0188. I'll take that again. 0803-754-0188. Please, if you call, nobody picks, send a message.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'd like to also have your number or the number of your association, Mr. Dennis.
Okay, we have a helpline which we have been working on. Instead, we have even a platform.
Okay.
Which all of us are trying to. We are on. She's on. Most of us are on that platform. My number is also on that platform.
Okay.
080 52 53 5876.
Okay.
Let me take it again. 080 52 53 5876. We will always give help. But there's one, as our sister said, the state will need to have what we call a safe home, because we are spending so much money from our own pocket to put a safe home.
Okay.
Recently, just some days ago, Kabakashi has agreed to take a big responsibility. That if you put it into money, it's going to also to so
yes.
that is why even everyone likes the Medical Men Association, they are involved, all other people are involved. We are doing such a thing. So we are pleading with this government to come, especially the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation and Ministry of Women Affairs, because they ought to take care of that responsibility. It's their ministry responsibility. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, audience. Our time is running off. But I'd like to just take your. I know GADA also does things with people. So can you give us your helpline? So
okay. Line. We have an online WhatsApp platform to report. It's 090.
Okay.
78 900 816.
Okay.
090 78 900 816.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, our key discussants. To the young people out there going through this, please tell somebody if you have not spoken up. You need to speak up now. It doesn't matter whether you are a girl or a boy, you are 8, you are 18, tell somebody. It really does help. And there are people out there who will listen to you and help you get through this. They are giving you their helplines, so you are free to call. And besides, it is confidential. Talk to a friend, talk to a teacher, talk to your mother. And mothers need to listen to their children. No matter how busy you are, listen to your children. And we need to be observant. When you go to work and you come back home, observe your children. You need to also educate your children. And to that girl, to that boy, do not see yourself as a victim. See yourself as a survivor. Thank you again for streaming live with us this morning. This is National Orientation Agency, Rivers State, Nigeria.